ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaskar my dear friends. This is fourth video on Lord Kapila's teachings. These teachings are explained by Sri Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada Swamiji. The topic under discussion is the purpose of Lord Kapila's advent. Yatatam api siddhanam kaschinmam veti tatvatah. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Understanding Krishna is therefore not so easy, as stated by Krishna. Out of many thousands, one person may become a Siddha, a self-realized being, and out of many Siddhas, one may be able to understand Krishna. It is our great fortune that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself, has appeared and given us a very easy process by which he can understand Krishna. What is that process? We need only hear about Krishna, that's all. We have therefore opened all the centers of Krishna consciousness throughout the world. Sarvatam eva khata Krishnaha पुण्य सर्वणा कीर्तनः हृदय अंतः सतो ही अभोर्द्राणि विभुनोति सुहृत सतम. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed and urged to hear his message, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. If we hear about Krishna, we become purified. Hearing about Krishna means associating with Krishna. In this way we may perfect our lives. Chapter 2, the Transcendental Master and Supreme Yogi. Text 2. Nahi asya varsmanaha pumsam varimanaha sarva yoginam visruto sruto devashraya bhuri trapyanti me swaha. Translation. Sanka continued, there is no one who knows more than the Lord himself. No one is more worshipable or more mature a yogi than he. He is therefore the master of the Vedas, and to hear about him always is the actual pleasure of the senses. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that no one can be equal to or greater than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed in the Vedas also. Eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. He is the supreme living entity and is supplying the necessities of all other living entities. Thus all other living entities, both Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva, are subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. The same concept is confirmed here. Nahi asya varsmanaha pumsam. Among living entities, no one can surpass the Supreme Person because no one is richer, more famous, stronger, more beautiful, wiser, or more renounced than he. These qualifications make him the Supreme Godhead, the cause of all causes. Yogis are very proud of performing wonderful feats, but no one can compare to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who is associated with the Supreme Lord is accepted as a first class yogi. Devotees may not be as powerful as the Supreme Lord, but by constant association with the Lord, they become as good as the Lord Himself. Sometimes the devotees act more powerful than the Lord. Of course, that is the Lord's concession. Also used here is the word Varmanaha, meaning the most worshipful of all yogis. To hear from Krishna is the real pleasure of the senses. Therefore he known as Govinda. For by his words, by his teachings, by his instruction, by everything connected with him, he enlivens the senses. Whatever he instructs is from transcendental platform, and his instructions, being absolute, are non-different from him. Hearing from Krishna or his expansion or plenary expansion like Kapila is very pleasing to the senses. Bhagavad Gita can be read or heard many times, but because it gives great pleasure, the more one reads Bhagavad Gita, the more he wants to read and understand it, and each time he gets new enlightenment. That is the nature of the transcendental message. Similarly, we find that transcendental happiness in the Srimad Bhagavat. The more we hear and chant the glories of the Lord, the more we become happy. In the previous birth, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Devhuti Putra, Kapila Deva has been explained as Bhagwan Atma Mayaya. The word Bhaga means opulence and one means one who possesses. All the opulences of the creation are present in Bhagwan, as stated in the Vedas Katha Upanishad. Nityo Nityanam Chetnat Chetnanam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidhati Kaman. Nitya Bhagwan is the singular and Nityanam are the plural jivas or living beings. Nityo Nityanam, we are many, but God is one. There is no limit to the jivas. No one can count them. The word Ananta means that they are without limit. All these jivas, living entities, are being maintained by the Supreme One. We cannot conceive how many living entities are being maintained by the Supreme Lord. All the great elephants are the small ants, all the 8 lakh 84 lakh species of life are maintained by Bhagwan. Why do we worry that he will not maintain us? Those who are devotees of the Lord and have taken shelter at his lotus feet, leaving everything aside simply to render service unto him, will certainly be cared for. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we have over 100 centers and Krishna is maintaining them all. None of our devotees are employed for independent incomes, yet they are all being maintained. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna never says, do this or that and I will then maintain you. Rather, he states that not only will he maintain us, but he will also protect us from the results of sin, from sinful karma. All of this assurance is there. तस्यैव हितोः प्रायातेता kovidaha. The word kovidaha means intelligent. An intelligent person should try to attain shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Human life is actually meant for getting in touch with the lotus feet of Krishna. That should be our only business. The word Upari indicates the higher planetary system. There are 7 higher planetary systems and we are in the middle system in Bhuloka. Within this one universe, there are 14 planetary systems and the living entities are wandering in different bodily forms on different planets. According to karma, the living entity sometimes goes up and sometimes goes down. He wanders in this way, thinking how he can become materially happy and satisfy his senses. The Shastras say that we should not do this, that we should endeavor to understand Krishna. We should not worry about eating and sleeping, for the needs of the body are already arranged. We do not have to work independently to maintain the body. Tallabhyate dukkavad anyata sukham kalina sarvata garbhira ramahasa. Our actual endeavor should be to attain happiness. That is our real struggle for existence. According to the Shastras, Talalabhyate dukkhavat. The word dukkhavat indicates that although we do not want misery, misery comes anyway. We do not have to endeavor separately for misery. No one says, let there be a fire in my house or let my child die. No one aspires after these things, yet they happen. Everyone is thinking, may my child live happily or may I get so much money. We do not ask or pray for catastrophes, yet they come without invitation. Similarly, whatever happiness is there for our enjoyment will also come without our asking for it. The conclusion is that we should not endeavor for so-called happiness or distress, but should try to attain that position whereby we can understand Krishna and get shelter at his lotus feet. This should be the real human endeavor. It was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who said to Rupa Goswami, Brahmahanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. The living entity is wandering up and down from one planet to another and he is very fortunate if by the mercy of the spiritual master and Krishna himself he can get the seed of devotional service to Krishna. The Krishna consciousness movement is an attempt to make people fortunate. In this age, everyone is unfortunate. Manda Bhagya. But now we are trying to reverse the situation. Throughout the world, there are problems everywhere. One country has one type of problem and another country has another. There is strife within governments themselves. and even presidents are fraught with problems. Sometimes we may think we are very fortunate, just as President Nixon was thinking, I'm very fortunate, I have become the President of the United States. Then he soon realized that he was the most unfortunate. Actually, this is the situation for everyone. We should not think that the only apprehended culprit is President Nixon and that we are safe. There is a Bengali proverb: dry cow dung is used for fuel, and it is said that when the dry cow dung is being burned, the soft cow dung is laughing, saying, "Oh, you are being burned, but I am safe." It does not know that when it dries up, it will be thrown into the fire too. We may laugh because President Nixon is in trouble, and we may think ourselves very safe because we have a big bank balance, but actually no one is safe. Eventually, everyone will dry up and be thrown in the fire. That is a fact. We may survive for a few years, but we cannot avoid death. In fact, it is sad, as sure as death. And what is the result of death? One loses everything, all honor, money, position, and material life itself. Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita, Mrityu sarva haras chaham. I am all devouring death. Krishna comes at death and plunders everything: bank balance, skyscrapers, wife, children, and whatever. One cannot say, "My dear death, please give me some time to adjust." There is no adjustment, one must immediately get out. Foolish people are unaware of the miserable conditions of material life. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma Mritu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Dosandarsanam. Real knowledge means knowing that however great one may be, the four principles of material life are present: birth, old age, disease, and death. These exist in the highest planetary system, Brahmaloka, and in the lowest, Pataloka. तस्सैवा हितोः प्रयातेता कोविदो न लभ्यते यद ब्रह्मातम उपारि उद्धः तल्लभ्यते दुःखवाद अन्यतः सुखम कलिना सर्वत्र गभीरा रामश्या. Person who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet down to the lowest planet. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them. When Dharmraja asked Maharaja Yudhishthira what is the most wonderful thing in the world was, Maharaja Yudhishthira replied, Ahampi ahani bhutani gachantiha Yamalayam. Every moment people are dying, but those who are living are thinking, my friend has died, but I shall live forever. Mahabharata Vana Parva 313.116. Soft cow dung thinks the same way. This is typical of conditioned beings. Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, is not in this position. It is therefore said, Bhagavan Atma Mayaya. We come onto this planet to enjoy or suffer life for a few days, 50 or 100 years. But Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, does not come for that purpose. Na mam karmani limpanti. It is further stated, na hi asya varmanaha. No one is greater than him. No one is greater than Bhagwan or equal to him. Everyone is inferior. According to Chaitanya Charitrama, एकल्ये ईश्वरा कृष्ण आरासभा भर्त्या. There is only one master Krishna, all others are subservient, beginning with Lord Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Indra, Chandra and all the demigods. There are 33 million demigods and the middle and lower species. Everyone is bhartaya or servant. When Krishna orders, my dear Mr. So and so, now please give up your place and leave, one must go there, for everyone is a servant. This is the position of Lord Brahma and the ant as well. Yes, tau Indra Gopam Athvendram Ahaswa Karma. From Lord Indra to Indra Gopa, an insignificant insect, everyone is reaping the consequences of his karma. We are creating our own karma, our next body in this life. In this life, we enjoy or suffer the results of our past karma. And in the same way, we are creating further karma for our next body. Actually, we should work in such a way that we will not get another material body. How can this be done? We simply have to try to understand Krishna as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Janma karma chami divyam evam yo vyakti tatvataha त्यागत्वा देहम पुनर्जन्म नेति mam eti so Arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. This sounds very simple, but actually understanding Krishna is very difficult. If we become the devotees of Krishna, understanding Krishna is very difficult. If we become devotees of Krishna, understanding Krishna is easy. However, if we try to understand Him by Janma, Karma or Yoga, we will be frustrated. There are many types of yogis, but he who is devoted to Krishna is the topmost yogi. Sri Krishna is far above all yogic processes. In India, there are many yogis who can display some magical feats. They can walk on water, make themselves very light or very heavy, and so forth. But what is this compared to Krishna's yogic mystic powers? By his potencies, great planets are floating in space. Who can manage to float even a small stone in the air? Sometimes a yogi may show a little mystic power by manufacturing some gold, and we are so foolish that we accept him as God. However, we forget that the real yogi, the Supreme Lord Himself, has created millions of gold mines and is floating them in space. Those who are Krishna conscious are not befooled by yogis who claim to be Bhagwan. A Krishna conscious person wants only to serve the foremost yogi, Yogeshwara, Varimnaha, Sarva Yoginam. Because we are trying to become his devotees, we accept the Supreme Lord Yogeshwara as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna himself states in Bhagavad Gita. Bhaktya mam abhijatnaya yavan yas chasmi tatvataha tato mam tatvato jnanvata visate tad anantaram. One can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service, and when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. This process is actually very simple. One must first of all realize that the first problem is the conquest of death. Presently, we consider death compulsory, but actually, it is not. One may be put into prison, but actually, prison is not compulsory. It is due to one's work that one becomes a criminal and is therefore put in jail. It is not compulsory for everyone to go to jail. As living entities, we have our proper place in Vaikuntha Loka. Paras tasmat tu bhavanyu. व्यक्तो व्यक्तति सनातनः यासः सर्वे भूतेषु नश्यतस् न विनश्यति अव्यक्तो अक्षरा इति उक्तास् तम अहुआ परमं ज्ञातिं यं पर्पया न निवृत्तन्ते तद्धमा परमं मम. There is another nature which is eternal and transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. That supreme abode is called unmanifested and infallible, and it is the supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode. Everything is present in Vaikuntha Loka. There we can have an eternal blissful life full of knowledge, Satya Chid Ananda. It is not compulsory for us to rot in this material world. The easiest way to go to the Vaikuntha Loka is Janma Karma Chame Divam Evam Yo Vetti Tatvataha. Simply try to understand Krishna. Why does he come? What are his activities? Where does he come from? Why does he come in the form of a human being? We only have to try to understand this and study Krishna as he explains himself in Bhagavad Gita. What is the difficulty? God personally explains himself as he is, and if we accept Bhagavad Gita as it is, we shall no longer have to transmigrate Tayaktva Deham Punarjanma Neti. We shall no longer have to endure birth and death, for we can attain our spiritual bodies, Satya Chitta Ananda Vigraha, and live happily in Krishna family. Krishna is providing for us here, and he will also provide for us there. So we should know that our happiness is in returning home back to Godhead, where we can eat, drink, and be merry in Krishna's company. So I end this video here. Next video number 5 will start with chapter 3, how to understand the Lord's activities, text 3. So this will be the starting of video number 5. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks my dear friends. Thanks. Namaskar.